Hello, Principals Leadership 1. This is week 13 with Mrs. Brown. Our topic this week is He Says, She Says. We're going to be looking at gender and leadership and how those two go together. Here's our first few quotes. This first one is by Sandra Day O'Connor, who's the first woman in the U.S. Supreme Court. She states, "The power I exert on the court depends on the power of my argument, not on my gender." David Chappelle, who's a comedian, says the hardest thing to do is to be true to yourself, especially when everybody is watching. So very true. Let's go ahead and dive into this topic this week. People often use the terms gender and sex interchangeably, but they are different. That's what I want you to get from this lesson. Sex describes the biological differences of males and females. That is, you are born either male or female. That's why you typically see that on forms like at your doctor's office or filling out a job application. It will ask a sex. It's because it goes in relation to your biological being. Versus gender, on the other hand, describes norms, stereotypes, and expectations typically associated with one sex based on social, cultural, religious, ethnic, and psychological values. Expectations and stereotypes about gender are influenced by your upbringing. Examples could be boys don't cry or only girls should play with dolls. That's an example of that. Gender identity refers to the gender you perceive yourself to be. How you lead depends in part on the role of gender in your life. While male and female leadership styles tend to differ, biases also can play out among group members who may have biases about others of the opposite sex or about male or female leaders, which is so true in the United States. I've heard a lot of stereotypes in my upbringing that a lot of males in my life have said that there should never be a female president in the United States, and that was a stereotype that I had in my own family. But I'm going to get to what I believe. And let's see, when you set aside that type of a stereotype or expectation, how you act and the choices you make don't have to be based on being male or female. Everyone, regardless of biological sex and gender identity, can learn to improve certain skills to lead more effectively. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, find out and learn more about it. To say women and men have different leadership styles is a generalization. Both male and female leaders can have what are sometimes described as masculine traits like taking risk or a feminine trait like trusting a feeling. In the past, men generally were the only acceptable leaders. Today, people are becoming more accepting of both men and women leading and leading in ways that reflect who they are as individuals instead of based on gender. And that is my personal opinion, that I want to know how a person can lead and reflect how they are as a leader based on that versus if they're male or female. Even so, gender continues to be a major factor in influencing leadership style. Understanding its effects can help clarify your actions as a leader and the decisions you make. Did you know? This is just a quick resource from the Worldwide Guide to Women in Leadership, and you can even find out more about this at this link. But from 1960 to 1997, only 4 women worldwide held the primary leadership position for a country. Since 1997, 21 additional women worldwide have held the primary leadership position for a country. As you know, the United States is not yet into this type of a category. So next, we're going to be looking, this is the traditional and modern leadership style chart. This chart is very important and you actually need to read it because you are going to be doing an activity with this chart. So I want you to pay attention. Over here, it tells you the type. It then tells you whether that's a traditional leadership style, meaning is it more masculine, or is that a feminine style, mean more modern in thinking. So you're going to look at the general approach. You're going to look at group organization. You're going to look at group organization expectations, power, relationships, communication, team participation, problem solving, conflict management, and pitching in. Then you're going to complete a think and write about it. How you were raised, what you're expected to achieve, and who your role models are all are influenced by your views about genders. For each category, heading from the traditional versus modern leadership style chart above, I would like you to identify which leadership style, modern or traditional, most closely matches your leadership attitudes and behavior. Remember, most people have traits from both the traditional and the modern. So even though you're a guy, not everything should probably fit into the traditional. And if you're a girl, not everything should fit into the modern. Use the following questions to guide you as you think about your typical style. Instead of answering each question specifically, simply describe the style you choose and explain why. So you're going to have an assignment. Use the directions from the previous slide and complete the worksheet directly in Blackboard for this assignment. As always, this is due Thursday at 5 o'clock, and if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you have a great week. Thanks.